Shalom, shalom, everybody. This Prophets of Awakening. This is August 15th, 2020. This is our Sabbath class. And what we're going to do is, like we do usually, we're going to do a moment of silence for what our Redeemer, our Lord of hosts is doing for us in setting up our deliverance from these land of our oppressors. And making the move to return us back to our homeland. So with that being said, I'll do a prayer, and then we'll go into current events and then go into the lesson. Okay. Oh Lord, we come before you on this Sabbath day, seeking thy face. Oh Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faith, as it is this day, to all the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all that are near and that are far off, through all that countries whither thou hast delivered us, because of our trespassing, that we have trespassed against thee. As it is written in the laws of Moses, all this evil has come upon us in the land of our captivity, here in the Americas, in the Caribbeans, Great Britain, and Africa. O Lord, according to all thy righteousness, I beseech thee, and let thine anger and thy fury be turned away from thy city Jerusalem and thy people and thy holy mountain. O Lord, hear this prayer and cause thy face to shine upon thy sanctuary and upon thy people for your sake. O Lord, open thine eyes and incline thine ears to hear and behold our condition. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, hearken and do defer not. For your people need you very much at this hour. Shalom, and peace be unto you. Okay, we're going to do some current events. Anybody got anything they want to bring up as far as current events?
Shalom, shalom.
Okay.
There's a lot going on in the news as it relates to this absentee voting and whether or not, the post office is going to be able to get the ballots out to those people who want to do a mail-in ballot and then get it back to, wherever it needs to be counted. But to me, it's kind of like a little precursor to some type of scamming that they're going to try to do with the election and blame it on absentee ballot voting.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was that guy Issachar. He has a YouTube channel. He did a video on that, on how they're gonna steal the election by causing using AI technology and 5G and all that. They're gonna sabotage the election.
Right, and of course the whole thing with absentee voting or ballot voting being sent through the mail, that they're blaming it on COVID. It'll the more people that vote through the mail, the less people have to be in line and in close proximity at the ballot booths. But
Right. They just setting it up. They're just setting it up like Trump said, mentioning it about the election is gonna be this and that. He's just setting it up for what they know what they're getting ready to do. Then like I said, it's nonsense. When they we got two different, when our forefathers or they forefathers created this whole system, the Senate and the House of Representatives supposed to work hand in hand, but the House found him eligible to be impeached, but the Senate don't. Right. So how the hell they working hand in hand? And then even now, he's the sitting president, and you over there and he running for a re-election, but you all over there tampering with the voting system.
Right.
That's a conflict of interest. And
Mm-hmm.
so you have all these people that's supposed to be apt in the process of the American process, but nobody ain't saying nothing about that. That's crazy
Mm-hmm.
as hell. How you
Right.
over there? We know that the majority of the votes that's coming forth in this election going to be through the mail because of COVID-19, and you over there messing with the postal system. You done
Mm-hmm.
single out the postal system that where you're not going to even get, you ain't sent them no money. You sabotage
Right.
the postal system. That's crazy as hell, and nobody ain't saying that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's crazy.
That's how we know we gotta, we just gotta leave it all in the hands
Right,
of the Lord of
right,
hosts.
right. The system is rigged, so
Mm-hmm.
there's no need of even focusing on that because that's the reason why the Most High have to come because these people don't have no sense of righteousness about them.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, this whole system is when you track it back, uh, it's a difference. Just like it's a difference in the Tanakh and the New Testament. Whereas the difference in uh, the Africa and the area around Africa and over here in the West.
Mm-hmm.
So but nobody ain't paying no attention to that. It's a difference in the black man and the white man.
Right.
But they want to fumble with that, but it's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's a major
Mm-hmm.
difference in it. So, but they want to, and then they done told us that all blood, we all come from the same place, and all our blood is one blood and all that bull crap. When it's obvious it ain't.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said, those are basic things that we have to get back around to, which is how our forefathers thought. We got to get back around to that, and that's what we see. The Most High is bringing our countenance and our mindset back around to that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Any more comments or current events? Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I was looking at something last night. I felt like I was gonna go back to it. And we had a little discussion about how some of these books got one story in it, then you get another book, it's got another story in it. And so, like I said before, out the gate, you gotta already have your mindset that these people that sabotage our understanding. And if it wasn't for the Lord of hosts in the kingdom of heaven, uh we'd have been cast off, been through. It's even as far as us reproducing and able to be to have a remnant here on earth. And if it wasn't for him, we'd been gone. But thank you know, thank Yahweh for the system that he set in place and for the Lord of hosts and all that he done. So I'm in the book of Joshua. This is the book I'm reading out of right here, in case you want to know. And I'm reading uh, chapter 1 of Joshua. And this is Joshua. In case you don't know who he is, Joshua is a Caleb. It was 12 spies sent to the land of Egypt to spy out the land for Moses, and 10 of those spies came back with a whacked out report, and they kept brought back fear and unbelief after all they saw the Most High do, the Lord of hosts do in Egypt, and so they came back with a whacked out report and brought chaos amongst the tribes, but the two of them came back with a good report, and that was Joshua and Caleb. So when it was time for them to, when Moses was when the Most High took Moses on Mount Nebo, and then he raised Joshua up to succeed him and take the children into the land. Caleb and Joshua received they was only two out of the generation that wandered for 40 years in the wilderness. They survived, and so Joshua is Caleb's son. He took over after Caleb passed away. This who Joshua is. So what I'm reading right here is Joshua's uh, account of what happened in the beginning, in the beginning of in Genesis 1:1, in Genesis chapter 1. So I'm going to start reading it. I'm reading chapter 1 of Joshua. It says, God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. And God created man in his own image. And God formed man from the ground, and he blew into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul endowed with speech. And the Lord said, it is not good for man to be alone. I will make unto him a helpmeet. And the Lord caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took away one of his ribs, and he built flesh up upon it, and formed it, and brought it to Adam. And Adam awoke from his sleep, and behold, a woman was standing before him. So what I wanted to do was, like I said, to make it a little more plainer because like I said, when you start reading stuff, it's the little things, and then that's how you build a foundation and get a greater understanding of the scriptures and understand, because the objective is to get the truth. So we see right here that he says God formed a man from the dust of the ground. Well, when we see that, it don't really sink in what's going on, but it says God formed a man from the dust of the ground. And so right here, Joshua makes a point to say he blew into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul endowed with speech. Then 3 says, and the Lord said, it is not good for man to be alone. I will make him to help me. Now he's going to explain what he means by he formed. It says, and the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took away his one of his ribs, and he built flesh upon it. He's telling you how he did it, and formed it. That's what he means when he said God formed it, and he formed it. Let me get it. Formed it and brought it to Adam. So let's look at that. So now I'm in Genesis, and like I said, we then had all these stories, all these pastors from the time of America's conception, and they created the pastor to now. They got 100,000 versions of Ezekiel 37. So based on what I just read, I'm gonna go to Ezekiel 37 right quick. So like I said, so did you see that beyond a shadow of a doubt, this right here is going to come into pass exactly like the Most High is uncovering. So I'm in Ezekiel 37, and it says, these are dry bones. And the hand of the Lord was upon me, carried me out into the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of a valley which was full of bones. And he caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord, thou knowest. So he asked him, can they live? Well, he asked him that because he know what he's capable of doing. We just saw what he did with the one rib he took out of Eve. He built flesh upon it. So he asked Ezekiel, can these bones live? There ain't no other interpretation. But you can't see that because of what they done to us as far as I understand it. So he says, again he said unto me, prophesy unto these bones, and say unto them, O ye bones, hear the word of the Lord. And thus saith the Lord God unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. So how you gonna do that? And then it says 6, and I will lay sinew upon you, I will bring up flesh upon you, cover you with skin, put breath into you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am Lord. So what are you talking about? What we just read in Joshua. Joshua said, says, and the Lord caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took a bone. We're gonna make it plain. He took a bone out of him, and he built up flesh upon it, formed it, brought it to Adam, and Adam awoke from his sleep, and behold, the woman was standing there. So while he had Adam sleep, he built up flesh around that one bone and made a whole human being out of it. And then when Adam woke up, he was there he was. So he asking, thousands of years later, he asked one of the descendants of Adam, can all these bones right here that's laying there, can they live? And then we know what he's gonna do with them, because you get to 10, he says, so I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, an exceedingly great army. And then he says, then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say our bones are dried and our hope is lost. We are cut off from our parts. See that? So you can't take that and make it symbolic. It's point blank. We know we capable of doing over here. And then we know the Lord of hosts is he who can create, he who can form. That's who he is when the Most High made him to do that type of stuff. So he said right here, he asked in Ezekiel, you know, and then when he said the whole house of Israel, these people that died. So when you go back and look at it, he say dry bones. Like I said before in Egypt, when he put blood in the river, then what's going to happen after that? The frogs can't stay in there with the blood in there. So what happened? All the frogs came out and covered Egypt. They couldn't stay in the Nile River. They came out. And then the frogs died. Then what you get from the frogs? You get stench and worms and all that, which brought on the next boils. So it's the same thing we'll be looking at right now with the coronavirus. The side effects to the coronavirus. Most High of all people and the Lord of hosts know that. What comes next is a total collapse. And then from that, total chaos. And then what? Then nation fighting against nation. For what? For the little bullcrap resources that's left. And then we know that's one of his characteristics. You got nations fighting. When he deliver us, he calls nations to fight amongst themselves. Bring down total chaos, and in the process of that, he delivers his people. So, like I said, so right here we're looking at in Joshua, we're looking at the truth because it's corresponding with the scripture, just like in Ezekiel 37. So you can't take that and go in any direction you want to go in with it, because it's only saying one thing: the Lord of hosts is gonna them same bones that was our forefathers had, and they lived and walked around with. The rest of the parts of the body is gone, but the bone's still there. And then he says in 11, then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, I say, our bones are dry. That's what happened to bones after the flesh leave off of them. They dry up. He said, dry, and our hope is lost. We are cut off from our parts. So the spirit that was in there still there. It's up in Enoch says they taking the chambers. Moses was gathered to his forefathers, and Isaiah gathered to his forefathers. So it says they said that our hope is lost and we are cut off from our parts. They cut off from their parts. They cut off from their body and the sinew and all that. But he's gonna bring all that back. And then he tells them, then you're gonna know who I am when I do that. And it ain't something he ain't already done before. Okay, so it says, and God blessed them and called their names Adam and Eve in the day that he created them. And the Lord God said, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. And the Lord God took Adam and his wife, and he placed them in the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And he commanded them, and he said unto them, from every tree of the garden you may eat, but from the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For in that day that in the day that you eat thereof, you shall die. And when God had blessed and commanded them, he went from them. And Adam and his wife Eve dwelt in the garden according to the command which the Lord had commanded them. So, like I said, we see right here, or like I said before, what so many people, Israelites they're awake, but they don't understand that there's laws and statutes and judgments surrounding you, but it's not surrounding the other nations. We know right here, these people, Adam and Eve, it's more people on earth that he had created on the sixth day, 2,000 years earlier, that to multiply. They don't have these commandments. Same thing today. We got Israelites, we got commandments surrounding us, but it's people on the earth that don't have these commandments. So he says, uh, and this is the point that stuck out to me. And when God had blessed it, they commanded them. He went from them, and Adam and Eve and his wife dwelled in the garden according to commands of the Lord that commanded them. So he said he went away from them. Where he went? Back up on the right hand side of the Father. It's the Lord of hosts. So 9, and the serpent, look at this, which God had created with them in the earth, came to them to incite them to transgress the commands of God, which he had commanded them. So I wanted to make a point about that, because this is, when you understand the mechanics, that's my objective, to try to give you the mechanics and stuff, and you better able to deal with it. So, like I said before, if you are Israelite, which you came forth from Adam, and then from Enoch and Noah and all them. So if you sitting in your house and then something come to you, or a thought come to you to rob a bank, that ain't from you. That's an outside entity that's coming to coerce you. So when you understand that, you better to deal with it. It's not from you. It's not coming from you. It's an outside entity. So he says right here, the serpent. He said that, and the serpent which God had created with them. So the serpent ain't part of Eve. But look what it says: the serpent enticed her. He came there. Outside entity came and enticed her, right, and seduced her, and persuaded the woman to eat from the tree of knowledge. And the woman hearkened to the voice of the serpent, and she transgressed the words of God and took from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and she ate. And she took from it and gave it also to her husband. And Adam and Eve transgressed the commandments of God, which he commanded them, and God knew it. His anger was kindled against them, and he cursed them. So we see the same thing happen to Israel that happened to them. We was taken to a land of plenty, given commandments, and then we transgressed commandments. Then what he do? He cursed us. Deuteronomy 28. So it ain't nothing new under the sun. So it says 13, and he called 12, and the Lord God drove them that day from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which they had taken, and they went and dwelled in the east of Eden. And Adam knew his wife Eve, and she bore 2 sons and 3 daughters. So this is the Gentile that worked. So anyway, he had to drive us out. He came and got us from Egypt, gave us a land flowing with milk and honey, and blessed us with riches, and then we didn't appreciate it. And then, like I said before in previous conversations, they was gonna stay there. They was gonna stay there and continue living contrary to what he had told them if he'd allowed them. So because they had it going on where they was at. But what did he do? He drove them out. He drove them out. Brought Antioch Epiphanes, the children of Cain. And so he did the same thing in the garden. Adam wasn't finna leave the garden. He was gonna stay right there, but he drove him out. And he drove us out. The abomination that make him desolate in Daniel 25, 9, 25, 26, and 27. So it says, and she called the name of the first son Cain, saying, I have obtained a man from the Lord, and the name of the other she called Abel, and for she in vanity we came into the earth, and in vanity shall we be taken from me. And the boys grew up, and their father gave them possessions in the land, and Cain was the tiller of the ground, and Abel was the keeper of the sheep. And it was at the expiration of a few years that they brought an approximating offering to the Lord. And Cain brought from the fruit of the ground, and Abel brought from the firstling of his flock, from the fat thereof. And God turned it and inclined to Abel an offering, and the fire came down from the Lord from heaven and consumed it. So I want to shine a light on this right quick. So it says, it says, and the boys grew, and the father gave them a possession in the land, and Cain was a tiller of the ground. So you see that Cain was a tiller of the ground. So when you understand that, which a lot of people don't, he had melanin in him at that point. We know what the Most High did. He cursed him. So what he cursed him? He cursed him from dealing with the earth. And when he say what that means, look at we just said it's a difference in the man in the West than the man that was in the Africa and in the Middle East. He cursed him and said, "What are you doing?" Even to this day, he trying to get the resources from the earth. That's what the Romans and the Greeks they did. They went straight to Africa because Africa in the Middle East is the breadbasket of the world. It's it's a tropical region and the ground is given forth in abundance. But where they came from was the cold. Ground wasn't giving up nothing. And then so they came over there where the man that the Most High had created in oneness with the earth. But we see, like I said, he cursed Cain. And you have to understand the full ramifications to that, because they still suffering from that today, which has a lot to do with their actions. So, like I said before, Cain was at one with the earth at first, but he had melanin in him. So he took the melanin out of him. Now you don't have no relations or whatsoever with the earth. He's been totally disconnected from it. So it says 15, and it was an expiration of a few years that they brought an approximated offering to the Lord, and Cain brought from the fruit of the ground, and Abel brought from the firstling of his flock on the fat thereof. So you notice what it says, the fat thereof. And we kept reading all through Leviticus that they had to deal with the fat. And then so he didn't bring all the animal, he brought the fat of the animal. So and then it says, and God turned and inclined Abel's offering. So we read over there, and let me read again. So we read over in Leviticus, this big. So we read over in Leviticus that, let me read it right quick. And Leviticus is the law. All right, so in chapter 9, we're going to see our dilemma today. And we're going to see why it's of the utmost importance to understand the Most High order and understand who the Lord of hosts is. So it says right here in 9. And then you see our dilemma, and being in the church and dealing with JC. It says, I'm in Leviticus chapter 9, at verse 5. It says, and they brought that which Moses commanded before the tabernacle of the congregation, and all the congregation drew near and stood before the Lord. And Moses said, this is the thing which the Lord commanded that ye should do, and the glory of the Lord shall appear. So we see this thousands of years later, but what we don't know is he commanded Adam, and Adam commanded all his sons to do the same thing. So when he told Adam, they doing the same thing Moses did. So he says, when you do this with these animals, he gonna appear. So we see right now, we've been over here for a year, we ain't seen him. We don't have no damn flocks, no herds, no animals to do this. But they done told us that we don't have to do that no more. How they did it, how they come us to not do it. They brought JC on the scene. A human sacrifice to say that we don't need to do this no more. So he says right here, 15, says, and it was at the expiration of a few years that they brought an approximating offering to the Lord. And so now we see what the purpose of the offering. The offering is to summon him. You can't. That's like I said I can't go and run up and jump in a spaceship and go to heaven looking for the Yahweh and bypass the Lord of hosts. I got to find him if I'm gonna get to Yahweh. It's an order. So he says, and it was an expiration of a few years that they brought an approximating offering to the Lord. And Cain brought from the fruit of the ground, and Abel brought from the fattening of the flock, from the fat thereof. The fat is what's gonna get him, was gonna get the Most High down there. So it's just like you dog and got out. Yeah, you put a big steak on the porch, you're gonna come back in the yard. So it says, and God turned and inclined Abel in his offering, and fire. See that? Fire came down from the Lord, from heaven, and consumed it. So we see right here, that's why we ain't seen this. We've been over here in the church hall, passing out and flipping all the pews, but ain't no fire came down. Because you leaving out part of the process. So you come over here. And Moses told them in 5, they brought that which Moses commanded before the tabernacle of the congregation, and all the congregation drew near and stood before the Lord. And Moses said, this is the thing which the Lord commanded that ye should do, and the glory of the Lord shall appear unto you. All right. Then you get over to verse 24, 23. Moses and Aaron went into the tabernacle. Well, let's go up one verse. And Aaron lifted up his hands toward heaven, toward the people, and blessed them, came down from offering, the sin offering, and the burnt offerings, and the peace offerings. Same thing with these 2 boys, Cain and Abel. They at the altar, making offerings. And then 23, Moses and Aaron went into the tabernacle of the congregation and came out and blessed the people, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto all the people. And there came fire out from before the Lord and consumed upon the altar and burnt offering and the fat, which see that? And the fat. That's what Abel bought. The fat, which when all the people saw it, they shouted and fell on their faces. So that's the last thing a Negro gonna do today is go get the fat, because he don't have a clue. The fat is what's gonna get him there. It's a process. It ain't Jesus. It's a process. It's these animals. So what did he do? He said he hid his face from us. He took away the animals, the flocks and the herds, and then he took away the understanding. And now that he's getting ready to come back, he bringing the understanding back. So, like I say, it's a whole lot more to the story than when our forefathers wrote them down. That's why these people had no other choice but to tamper with the scriptures, and in a major way. That's where we at. That's why we're not able to deal with them, because we're not dealing with the scriptures the way you're supposed to. So it said, and unto Cain and his offering, the Lord did not turn, and he did not incline to it, for he had brought him from the inferior fruit of the ground before the Lord. And Cain was jealous against his brother Abel on account of this, and he sought to pretext to slay him. So 16 says, and the Lord and under Cain and his offering, the Lord did not turn, and he did not incline. That's where we at. They got all these other reasons, but we see right here the process. And so we ain't making no offerings, and he ain't inclining, he ain't dealing with us. He done that. So, and in some time after, Cain and Abel, his brother, went one day into the field to do work, and they were both in the field. Cain tilling and plowing his ground, and it was sorely grieved Cain on this account. And Cain approached his brother Abel in anger, and he said unto him, what is there between me and thee, that thou comest to dwell and bring thy flock to feed in my land? And Abel answered his brother Cain and said unto him, what is there between me and thee, that thou shalt eat the flesh of my flock and clothe thyself with their wool? So, like I was saying before, we looking at now the children of these same 2 boys. So the same question they asked him, we got to ask: what is it between the Israelite and the Gentile? The Israelite came from Abel, and the Gentile came from Cain. So this ain't no new story. This ain't just started when they came and got us on the slave ships and in the cotton fields in Mississippi and Alabama. It started way back here. It says, it's 17, and in some time after, Cain and Abel, that's just them right there, but their descendants grew and multiplied. It says, went one day into the field to do work, and they were both in the field, Cain tilling and plowing his ground, and Abel feeding his flock. They doing what they do, and the flock passed by the part of Cain and had plowed in the ground, and it sorely grieved Cain on account. And Cain approached his brother, and he said unto him, what is there between me and thee? Same thing going on now. What is it? What is it between us and them? It's this right here. And their origins. Understand their origin and understand our origin. That's what the problem is between me and them and us. It says, and Abel answered his brother and said unto him, what is there between me and thee, that thou shouldst eat the flesh of my flock and clothe thyself with their wool? And now therefore put off the wool of my sheep with which thou hast clothed thyself, and recompense me for their fruit and the flesh which thou hast eaten. And when thou shalt have done it, I will then go from the land as thou hast said. And Cain said to his brother Abel, surely if I slay thee this day, who will requite thy blood from me? And Abel answered Cain, saying, surely God, who has made us in the earth, he will avenge my cause, and he will require my blood from thee, should thou slay me. For the Lord is the judge and arbitrator, and it is he who will requite man according to his evil, and the wicked man according to the wickedness that he may do upon the earth. Now, if thou shouldest slay me here, surely God knoweth thy secret views, and will judge thee for the evil which thou didst declare to do unto me this day. So that goes right to Genesis 15, when he prophesied to Abraham about the 400 years. He said that you're gonna go to a land, and your enemy is gonna afflict you and do you harm, and then I'm gonna come and judge you. I'm gonna come and judge you. I'm gonna come deliver you, and I'm judge them. And this is what Cain said right here. Same thing. 23. And now, if thou shouldest slay, 25. It says, and Cain hastened and rose up, took the iron part of the plow, his plowing instrument, with which he suddenly smote his brother and slew him. And Cain spilt the blood of his brother upon the earth, and the blood of Abel streamed upon the earth before the flock. And after this, Cain repented, having slain his brother, and he was sadly grieved, and he wept over him, and it vexed him exceedingly. So like I said before, Cain's the tiller of the ground. He committed this horrendous act and killed his brother, and the blood spilled on the ground, on the earth. So this is why he got cursed. At first, the Most High had blessed him. He had melanin in him, and he was at oneness with the earth. Killed his brother, spilled the blood on the ground, is what caused him to get cursed. He had no respect for the earth and what the Most High had done, so the Most High took it back. So Cain dissembled and said, I do not know, I am my brother's keeper. And the Lord said unto him, what hast thou done? The force of thy brother, the dross of thy brother's blood. Hold up, let me find it. On that. Blood crieth unto me from the ground, where thou hast slain him. For thou hast slain thy brother, and hast dissembled before me, and didst imagine in thy heart that I saw thee not, nor knew all thy actions. But thou didst this thing, and didst slay thy brother for naught, and because he spoke rightly to thee. And now therefore cursed be thou from the ground, which opened the mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand, wherein thou didst bury him. And it shall be, when thou shalt, see right here go the curse, it shall be that when thou till it, it shall no more give thee its strength as in the beginning. For thorns and thistles shall the ground produce, and thou shalt be moving and wandering in the earth until the day of thy death. Okay, so let's look at that. Cain was a tiller of the ground, and because of what he done, he said thorns and thistles were gonna come up. Well, let's look at that, because Adam was a tiller of the ground. Let's look at Genesis. Chapter 2, verse 5. We went over this before, but we come from a different angle. It says, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. That's Adam. So Adam was tiller of the ground. Okay? And so Adam sinned. And then you go to verse 3 in verse 17, he's the punishment that Adam got for his sin. 17, and under Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground. See that? Adam is his son. He formed him. So he didn't take the melanin from Adam, he cursed the ground. But Cain, who he was, he took the melanin from him. It says, and unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten from the tree in which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt eat of it, thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake. See? He's saying for thy sake, because he ain't cursed him. Right? In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall bring forth to it, and thou shalt eat of the herb of the field. So we see these are similar curses, but it's a twist on it, and that's why you got to read everything, because it's the Most High saying something there, but you reading it and assuming that it's saying this, but it's saying something else, because it's that different. It's just like with Esau, when they received their blessings, Esau and Jacob. He says Jacob was going to live in the fat places of the earth, and he also said Esau was going to live in the fat places of the earth. But he said Esau was going to live in the fat places of the earth with the sword through wickedness. But Isaac was going to live from blessings from heaven. So that's a difference. So anyway, I'm in 33. He says, and at that time Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, from the place where he was, and he went moving and wandering in the land toward the east of Eden, he and all belonging to him. And Cain knew his wife in those days, and she conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Enoch, saying, in that time the Lord began to give me rest and quiet in the earth. And at that time Cain also began to build a city, and he built the city, and he called the name of the city Enoch, according to the name of his son. For in those days the Lord had given him rest upon the earth, and he did not move about and wander as in the beginning. And Ari was born to Enoch, and Ari begot Methuselah, and Methuselah begot Methuselah. Okay, so I'm gonna open it up. Anybody got any comments or questions on what I just read before we go into the lesson?
Yeah,
Okay.
Clarity on which Enoch this is, because there was an Enoch in the Adam's lineage, and this one says that Cain's son was Enoch.
Right. So you go to Genesis chapter 5, Genesis chapter 4. It's Cain's descendants. I mean, for the people that hadn't been around on the line that long, Cain is the product of the serpent sleeping with Eve. He's not Adam's son. So what the Most High did was separated Cain's lineage in the beginning. In Genesis chapter 4, verse 16, it says, Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. That's what we just read in Jasher chapter 1. But if you go to chapter 5 in the King James, it says, this is the book of the generation of Adam. In the day that the God created man, in his likeness, God created he him. So since we here, we just discovered the other day that Mordecai, the book of Esther is the book of Mordecai. These people that flipped everything all around, where it's telling you right here, point blank, in chapter 5, that Genesis is not Genesis. This is the book of the generations of Adam. It's the book of Adam. And lo and behold, they got books of Adam. They got book of Adam 1 and book of Adam 2, telling you the story. So they didn't finagle this right here. These books right here, our Old Testament Tanakh books, they didn't finagle them to the point to take you to the New Testament. So anyway, it says, this is the book of generations of Adam. This is the name of the book, not Genesis. So anyway, in the day that God created man, in likeness God made him, male and female created he them, and blessed them, call their name Adam. So it's a people called Adam, mankind, that he created in Genesis 1:26. Then it's a man called Adam. Just like it's a man called Israel, and it's a people called Israel. So he says, and in that day they were created. And Adam, this the man Adam, lived 130 years and begot sons in his likeness, after his image, and God called his name Seth. So this is the beginning of Adam's lineage. Cain lineage is over in Genesis 4, verse 16 through 22. And so when you follow Adam's Cain's lineage, his firstborn son is Enoch. But when you follow Adam's lineage, the seventh from Adam is Enoch. It's two Enochs. So, and also, just for the people that don't know, it's two Lamechs. There's a Lamech in Cain's lineage. It's a Lamech in Adam's lineage, and it's two Methuselahs. There's a Methuselah in Cain's lineage, and there's a Methuselah in Adam's lineage. And that's what I mean by you got to read. You got to read it, and you got to break everything down. You can't read a chapter and then move on, because what you're going to gather from this by going all the way in on it is going to help you later on when you read. You're going to see it's a whole nother story unfolding, rather than the story that's been given to you. Okay? Was that suffice?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I was going to say that just listening to what you read about, the comparison between Cain and Abel, when you look at how we are today and what we've been told and what you're explaining to us, and, knowing that they've been dealing with them like our forefathers dealt with them, we thought, that Cain would have, knowing who the person in front of him that was talking to him, he'd have been on the ground, rolling around, begging, because he messed up. But he over here in pride.
Right. Exactly.
Arrogant. Something mentally got to be wrong with him. Right.
And then that's their downfall. Because, like I said, when you understand that we descended from Adam and from Abel, and Cain, the origins is from the serpent. So look at the coronavirus. The coronavirus out there, but they still trying to live that lifestyle. They can't see that the hand of the Most High trying to turn them from the lifestyle that they living in and what they didn't set up on the earth, on the planet. They instead of trying to go back and get in the ski boats and go to the beaches and all that, as if the hand of the Lord haven't been revealed. They ain't trying to turn it from. They trying to act as if he ain't did nothing. And the same thing the Pharaoh did. Yeah.
Right. You just ignoring everything.
Yeah, they ignoring. They don't want to acknowledge the Most High. That's what that is. And like I said, and then he tells us in Deuteronomy 28 that he cast us over here because we wanted to worship idols. So he didn't cast us over here on accident. He cast us over here because these people worship idols. And so what they did was they over the process of time, they didn't sold that into our countenance, into our DNA. But the Most High says that he got a remnant. And that's why it's gonna be, it ain't gonna be nothing. It ain't gonna be nothing nice when he come back, because you're gonna have to separate people. He did that at Mount Sinai when they came out of Egypt. Yeah, and like I said, what happens is when this is explained to you in the proper way, it helps you to separate yourself easier, because when you're looking at it. Like I said, DNA. If you take watermelon seeds and put them in the ground, hell, sooner or later you come outside, there's gonna be watermelons out there, because you put them in the ground. It's the same thing now. We can see where this wickedness came from. We can because the Most High is DNA. So we see where it came from. It came from the dude right here, Cain. And then we see the other side, the 12 tribes of Israel and Jacob, they came from Adam, the man that Most High formed. And the Most High don't form nothing or deal with nothing that's wicked as hell. Adam was righteous. So that's two different origins. You know? Yeah.
Makes sense.
Right.
Thanks.
Yeah. Anybody else got something? Okay. Yeah. So what I'm doing is the lesson for the day is I'm doing a little. I'm trying to rediscover. Name of it is rediscovering Abraham. You know, shining the light on him, going in, going in with a little more detail on Abraham, and his some of the things that happened with him, and better understand who he is and why he was chosen as our father, the patriarch. So I'm in the Jubilees. Like I said, it's another book, Jubilees. So it says, and the child began to understand the errors of the earth. That this Abraham, he's little. And the child began to understand the errors of the earth that all went astray after the graven images and after uncleanness. So, like I said before, what we discovering and what's being unfolded is that we're going to the source of this stuff. A lot of stuff we read, we coming in on the end of it or at the middle of it. But we gotta, it's the utmost important to understand where it originated from, and then how to trace it all the way down to the day. When you have that understanding, you can deal with it better. So it says, and the child began to understand the errors of the earth that all went astray after graven images and uncleanness. So they've been worshiping these idols way back during the time of Abraham. So like I said before, when you look at that, how in the hell is we dealing with Yahweh now? If he hid our face from us, if he hid his face from us, there's only one conclusion: we're dealing with an idol. Simple as that. It says, and his father taught him writings, and he was 2 weeks of years old, and he separated himself from his father, that he might not worship idols with him. And he began to pray to the creator of all things, that he might save him from the errors of the children of men. So let's look at this, because you need to know this. So it says right here, this is another hook. I told you about the hook with the Lord, by them just putting Lord in there. And then when it's more than one Lord, it's a truckload of laws, but you have to know which one you're dealing with, and put it in context in the scripture that you read. So he says right here, and he saved him from the errors of the children of men. So these children of men, this ain't. They want you to think these are all the people on the earth, and they telling you that we all came from the same source, same blood. So that's why when you see children of men, you're thinking these humans. But let's look at it. So this, I told you, was a 6-day man. And then there's a man and a woman that was created. Adam was formed. That's the reason why he's different. And so then it's also the serpent slept with Eve and got Cain. So they all ain't the same. Adam descendants, which is chosen, is the ones that the Lord host dealing with, because he formed them, Adam. So go to Genesis chapter 6, and I'm in verse. I read this last night. It says, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw that the daughters of men. See that these the people from Cain's descendants and the 6-day man. They ain't come down and take no wives from Adam's descendants, because the Lord hosts there. He watching over them. So they coming down to these children of men. So let me give you another example of these people. And they got you thinking you read it, trying to put all humans together, but that's not what the scripture's conveying. So you go to when he's talking to David, 2 Samuel, chapter 7. So he got them reserved. You got to remember, I was telling you about these 2 angels. It's a book that's in heaven. The reason they're able to prophesy, and it's 2 angels. They look on that book, Gabriel and Michael. So it says 7. So he already know what he's doing. He brought about Cain for a reason. So chapter 7, 2 Samuel chapter 7, and he's David had wanted to build a house. And he told him, you can't build it, you got blood on your hand. And so what was the reason David had blood on his hand? He killing these giants. He like a little Lord of hosts. He got a sword, like the Lord of hosts got, and he's killing these giants. That was it. That's why he said you can't build a house. So 10, he says, moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and I will plant them, and that they may dwell in the place of their own and move no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness, the same one and the same idiom or phrase. The children of wickedness is the children of men. And the Israelites ain't, and Jacob's Adam's seed ain't included in that. But these wicked people want you to think that. So these are people right here from the serpent, the children of wickedness. They was conceived. Their father is wicked, is the embodiment of wickedness. That's why he's saying that. And the children of wickedness shall afflict them anymore as before time. So what are you talking about? Didn't the serpent come into the garden and whisper in evil? Ain't that what evil spirits do? They came from these giants, come in outside of you, outside of your countenance, outside of the substance that the Most High made you, your mind, come outside of that and coerce you. If you ignorant to what it is that's dealing with you, come and coerce you. That's what he's talking about, the wicked children of wickedness. This is not Adam's descendants. Ain't included in this. They wicked as hell. That's these 4 beasts that Daniel tell you about. It originated from these children of wickedness. Adam's descendants ain't included in that. Okay, so we're gonna keep going. So, let me get on out here where I find out where. Yeah, it says he saved him from errors of the children of men, and that his portion shall not fall into error after uncleanness and vileness. And the seed time came for the sowing of the seeds upon the land, and they all went forth together to protect their seed against the ravens. And Abraham went forth with those that went, and the child was a lad. Look at this. I want to show you something. Like I said before, you gotta once you get to a certain point on this, you can peep out what they're doing. This, like I said, is typology. The reason where we at today is typology. The reason why these scriptures are hoodwinked. And so it says, and Abraham went forth with those that were with that went, and the child. So as soon as you see child, go to the New Testament, and there's a child born, Jesus. So look at this. A child was a lad, 14 years old. See how they just subverted the conversation. He wasn't no 14, he was 12. Just like this, because you got this is where you got this from when you did Jesus. But you won't try to throw it off by saying 14 years old. No, Abraham was 12 years old. This is where you got the story from of Jesus. So he says, and a cloud of ravens came to devour the seed, and Abraham ran to meet them before they settled on the ground, and cried to them before they settled on the ground to devour the seed, and said, "Sin not, return to thy place where ye came," and they proceeded to turn back. So Abraham controlling these ravens, these black birds. So let's go into that, because like I said, you people that understand these are evil spirits, wicked ass spirits. They have the ability to go into animals. So when the Most High say they're gonna afflict you, Abraham understand that. They can enter into people, they enter into birds, they all over the place. And you being afflicted and being or tested and tried, and don't even understand that you're being tested and tried. So like I say, you can't see them. They like the wind, but they can enter into the Most High creation and come and entice you. But you have to have an understanding of what's going on. So Abraham's speaking to these wicked ass spirits and these birds. That's why they leaving. He charging them. So, but all they see is the birds, but he understands what's going on. He charging them. They attacking their vegetation with their crops. They're trying to starve him to death. So it says, and he caused the clouds of ravens to turn back that day 70 times. And all the ravens throughout all the land where Abraham was there, settled there out of all the lands where Abraham was settled there, not so much as one. And all who were with him throughout all the land saw him cry out, and all the ravens turned back, and his name became great in the land of the Chaldeans, right? So let's look at that. So he's 12 years old. He ain't no grown man. He's 12 years old, and his name great. Think about that. Go to the New Testament with it. It says, and all who were with him throughout all the land saw him cry out, and all the ravens turned back, and the name was great in all the land of the Chaldeans. And there came to him this year all those that wished to sow, and he went with them until the time of sowing ceased, and they sold their land. In that year, they brought enough grain home and ate and were satisfied. See, these ravens don't want to starve them to death. They are attacking the Most High seed, his house. Okay, and it says, and in the first year of the 5th week, Abraham taught. See that? He's 12 years old. Jesus, 12 years old, teaching in the temple. So Abraham taught those who made implements of oxen and artificial in wood, and they made a vessel above the ground, facing the frame of the plow, in order to put the seed through thereon. And the seed fell down therefrom upon the share of the plow, and was hidden in the earth. And they no longer feared the ravens. And after this manner, they made vessels above the ground on all frames and plows, and they sowed until all the land according to Abraham commanded them, and they no longer feared the birds. So before this, they would take seed out and put it on top of the ground. So then the Most High dealt with Abraham and to start putting it in the ground, and the birds couldn't get to it. Okay, it says, and it came to pass in the 6th week, in the 7th year thereof, that Abraham said to Terah his father, said, Father, and he said, Behold, here I am, my son. And he said, what help and profit have ye from these idols which thou doest worship, and before which thou doest bow thyself? For there is no spirit in them. So you have to apply that to the day. And then, as like I said, this idol worship been here for time immemorial. And so here go Terah. He came from the same stock, same DNA Abraham come from, but he worshiping idols. And and like I said, it's no different than today. The powers that be, where the wealth and all the money at, they're the idol worshipers. So we're looking at the same thing today. Who got all the money? So they ain't worshiping Yahweh. They worshiping an idol. Right? They through this idol, they didn't acquire it, or they are rich, or they are wealth through trickery. So it says, for there's no spirit in them, for they are dumb forms and a misleading of the heart. That's what JC is. And doeth everything upon the earth, and have created everything by his. Okay, hold up. It says they are dumb forms and misleading to the heart. Worship them not. Worship the God of heaven, who caused the rain and the dew to descend on the earth, and doeth everything upon the earth, and have created everything by his word. And all life is from before his face. So let's look at that. So, like I said, go to the Gentile and go to his mindset. You don't have no fear of the Most High word. So we see right here, he have created everything by his word. So they took that, and that's where they stuck JC in there, by his word. So let's break it down. And he have created everything, right? Who? Michael. What do Michael mean? He who creates. So look at this. He have created everything, this Michael, by his word. So you see how ignorant that is? When you read it in the right context. So now JC done said that his father, which is Yahweh in heaven, sent him. But the word is coming forth from the Archangel Michael mouth. So it's a problem. Okay? Why do ye worship things that have no spirit in them, and they are the works of men's hands. And on your shoulders do ye bear them, and ye have no hope from them. But they are great cause of shame to those who make them, and a misleading of the heart to those who worship them. Worship them not. So what we reading is line upon line, precept upon precept, what the Most High said in Deuteronomy 28. We see it's curses all over Deuteronomy 28. It ain't nothing in there that's good to the Israelite. But if you plug JC in there, they don't go along with the curses. He done hid his face. He ain't sending nobody out in the open, laying no hands on nobody. That's contrary to Deuteronomy 28. So we look right here, this fall right in place with Deuteronomy 28. Right here it says, for they are the works of men's hands, and on your shoulders do ye bear them, and ye have no help from them. But they are a great cause of shame to those who make them. See that? So this fit right in with Deuteronomy 28. We've been cast out in the place away from the Most High, and he said you start dealing with idols. I'm gonna send you out there with the people that make idols. And what that's gonna be? It's gonna be a great shame. It's shameful. He ain't bringing nobody to come and lay no hands on you and heal you. He got you in a dark place. So it says, worship them not. And his father said unto him, I also know it, my son, but what shall I do with a people who have made me to serve before them? And if I tell them the truth, they will slay me, for their soul cleaveth to them to worship them and honor them. That's where we at. A Christian will kill you. You did. If it wasn't for the police and all that, you go around a certain place talking about Jesus ain't real, you get killed. So right here he says, and his father said unto him, I also know it, my son, but what shall I do? This is our predicament. What shall I do with a people who have made me to serve them? That's what they did us at the council of Nicaea, and through deception. Got you worshiping, that made you worship an idol. And it ain't for the Most High. He can't get you out of it. You ain't gonna get out of it. The Most High don't come and deal with you. So they done made, the Most High sent us over here to a people that make you worship idols. Right? It says, in these words he spake to his two brothers, and they were angry with him, and he kept silent. And in the 40th Jubilee, in the second week, in the 7th year thereof, Abraham took to himself a wife, and her name was Sarah, the daughter of his father. She became his wife. And Haran, his brother, took to himself a wife in the 3rd year of the 3rd week, and she bore him a son in the 70th year of this week, and he called his name Lot. And Nahor, his brother, took to himself a wife. And in the 6th year of the life of Abraham, that is, in the 4th week, in the 4th year thereof, Abraham arose by night. This is something right here to know, right here. Abraham arose by night, burned the house of the idols, and he burned all that was in the house, and no man knew it. Watch this. And they arose in the night and sought to save the idol. They're trying to save this idol. See that? They're trying to save these idols. That's what people doing today. Save their gods from the midst of the fire. And Haran, right, hastened to save them, but the fire flamed, but the fire flamed over him, and he was burnt in the fire, and he died in Ur of the Chaldeans before Terah, his father, and they buried him in the Ur of the Chaldeans. So what's so significant about that? Well, Haran is Lot's son. I mean, Haran is Lot's father. Abraham set this house on fire and burned these idols. So Abraham responsible now, like I was telling you about Esther. Her name is Hadasha, whatever it is in Hebrew, but Esther wasn't Mordecai's daughter, but he brought her in. So Abraham brought Lot in. He felt responsible for Lot because Haran died on account that he had burnt those idols up. And Haran tried to go in there to save him and got killed. But they don't tell you that. Because when you go back, let's look at it. We're going to go all the way in. So let's go to Genesis. Let's look at this. And this how you get the truth. You know, you say you squeeze the juice out the lemon. So it says, let me find it right quick. I'm in chapter 12 of Genesis when Abraham was called. It says, chapter 12, verse 1. Now the Lord has said unto Abraham, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred. Well, hell, Lot is kindred. He told him, don't bring none of your kindred with you. You know how kin folks is. He said, don't bring none of your kindred with you. But Lot took Abraham with him. Why? Right here. This is how you get to the bottom of it. They got all kind of renditions and trying to hook with the story, but you can get to the bottom of it. So right here, he says, the Lord said, I have said unto Abraham, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house. Lot is part of his father's house. He's Haran's son. Unto the land that I will show thee. But he took Lot with him. And like I said, we know what happened. It all kind of bull crap ain't about because of Abraham brought Lot with him. But it ain't what he told him. But Abraham took it upon himself to bring Lot because Haran, his brother, died on account of him burning these idols up. The zeal that he had for these idols. Okay? I figured I'd plug that in there. So, let me see where I'm at. It say, keep silent, my son, lest they slay thee. And these words he spake unto his two brothers were going down. It said, they arose in the night, and Haran hastened to save them, but the fire flamed over him, and he was burned in the fire, and he died in Ur of the Chaldeans before Terah his father, and they buried him in Ur of the Chaldeans. And so, like I said, so you can, when you start to do this and read this, you can go right and plug all this stuff right in where they're supposed to be at. And then you got a whole different understanding, and like the scriptures say, waxing strong. And what you have to understand when you do this, then you charging the Most High. He ain't gonna sit there and let you not get the understanding. It's his responsibility to give you the understanding. So he says, and Terah went forth from Ur of the Chaldeans, he and his sons, to go into the land of Lebanon and into the land of Canaan, and he dwelt in the land of Haran, and Abraham dwelt with Terah his father. Let me see. Terah his father in Haran 2 weeks or years, and in the 6th week, in the 5th year thereof, Abraham set up throughout all the night on the new moon of the 7th month to observe the stars from the evening to the morning in order to see what would be the character of the year with regard to the rain. So this paganistic. So watch what Most High do. And he said, and he was alone as he sat and observed, and the word came into his heart, and he said, all the signs of the stars and the signs of the moon and the sun are all in the hands of the Lord. Why do you search them out? If he desireth, he causes it to rain morning and evening. And if he desireth, he withholdeth it. And all things are in his hand. And he prayed that night and said, my God, God of Most High, thou alone art my God. And thee and thy dominion have I chosen. And thou hast created all things. And all things are the works of thy hands. Deliver me from the hands of the evil spirits. See that? That's what was in the birds. Deliver me from the evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men. See that? That's what I was telling you. You can't. 99% of the stuff that coming in your head it ain't coming from you. It's wicked ass spirits that you know how to address it. You know, if somebody comes through your door, you don't want them in your house. You tell them to get the hell out. So, but you're not doing that because you don't know that somebody that came in your house. You ignorant to the operations. So it says, and establish thou me and my seed forever, that ye go not astray henceforth and forever. So let's look at that, because this goes back to the Q&A. So it says, Abraham was sitting there throwed off, looking all up in the sky, trying to figure out what he gonna do, the next couple of months, according to the rain. And the Most High came to him and said, And the word came into the heart of, and he said, all the signs of the stars and the signs of the moon and the sun are in the hands of the Lord. So he bypassing a whole bunch of bull crap by telling him this. And he says, why do you search them out? You ain't got to do that no more. I'm laying it out to you. He says, if he desires, he causes it to rain morning and evening. And if he desired it, he withhold it. And all things are in his hand. So he done came and told Abraham that. But like I told you, what Eli did with Hannah, he had to speak it. You can know it all you want, but he had to speak it. He told her, it's all good with you. And then he said, the Lord of hosts bless you. He had to speak that. So Q&A, you can sit there, you got a question, but you don't say nothing. There ain't nothing gonna be manifested. You got to say something. So Abraham got the understanding of that. Then look what he do, and he prayed that night after he got that and said, he spoke, he acted. He said, "My God, God Most High, Thou alone, oh my God." He had to confess that out his mouth. And thee and thy dominion have I chosen. Let it be known to these wicked ass spirits and everything around him that thee and thy dominion have I chosen. Thou hast created all things, and all things that are works of thy hands. Deliver me from the hands of these evil spirits who have sway over my thoughts of mine heart, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God, and establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray from henceforth and forevermore. So you say, what you talking about? Well, people want to know why after all the hell we've been through in the transatlantic slave trade, all the people was dumped in the water and beat the hell out of and hung on trees, why are we still here? He spoke it right here. Imagine if he would have said that. He said right here, deliver me from the hands of the evil spirits who have swayed over the thoughts of men and hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray henceforth for forever. So imagine if he wouldn't have said that. So then it says, and he said, shall I return unto Ur of the Chaldeans, who seek my life, seek my face, that I may return to them, or am I to remain here in this place, the right path before thee, prospering in the hands of thy servant, that he may fulfill it, and that I may not walk in the deceitfulness of my heart, O God. And he made an end of speaking and praying, and behold, the word of the Lord was sent to him through me. So we see right there, we see who the word of the Lord is. It's Michael, the Lord of hosts. Right? It says, saying, get thee up from thy country and from thy kindred and from thy house of thy father unto a land which is I will show thee, and I will make thee a great, and say, and I shall bless thee. So what you just witnessed was I just read what I just read over here in Genesis. But all I read before that ain't in the book. So it's a wicked scribe in the background putting in what he want to put in and taking out what he want to take. So it says, and I shall make thy name great, and thou will be blessed in the earth, and in thee will the families of the earth be blessed, and curse them that curse thee, and I shall be a God to thee and thy son, and to thy son's son, and to all thy seed. Fear not, from henceforth and unto all generations of the earth, I am thy God. And the Lord God said, open his mouth and his ears, that he may hear and speak with his mouth, with the language which have been revealed. Right? So we're gonna look at this. I'm gonna show you something. It says, open his mouth and his ears, that he may hear and speak with his mouth and with the language which I have been revealed. For it has ceased from the mouth of all the children of men. See that? From the day of the overthrow of Babel, and I opened his mouth and his ears and his lips, and began to speak with him in the Hebrew language, of the tongue of the creation. And he took the book of this, and he took the book. So it ain't nothing. We ain't doing nothing new. Like I say, you trying to figure out who I am and who these other Hebrew Israelite guys is being raised up. It says, and he took the books of his fathers, and these were written in Hebrew, and he transcribed them, and he began from henceforth to study them. Ain't nothing new under the sun. See that? And I made known to him. See that? Like I said, I was Mr. Nightman. He says, I made known to him that which he not understand. I ain't understand nothing. And he studied them during the 6 rainy months. So you say, what you talking about? Well, let's look at it. It ain't nothing new under the sun. Like I said, that Jesus ain't in this. It's the Lord of hosts that I was just reading about. So let's look at over here in Zephaniah right quick. So I'm in Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 9. So like I said, it's all coming together. And so well, I told you that over here in the West, you know, this where the cold at, and this where the Gentiles at. And we come from over there, over in the Middle East, right? So what was over there in the Middle East? The language. The Hebrew, they was over there. Our forefathers, they was speaking in Hebrew. Tower of Babel, all that was over there. So I'm in verse Zephaniah 3 and 9. And for then will I turn to the people, to who? The Hebrews, a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord to serve him. So how in the hell are we serving him now? We ain't got the Hebrew. When he bring us back, he gonna give us his language back. Same thing he did over here. It ain't nothing new on the sun. That's what our dilemma is. Like I said, you got a chicken walking around in the chicken yard barking like a dog. It's a problem. You gotta find some kind of way to give him his language back, where he can start clucking like a rooster. There's something wrong with him if he's barking like a dog. So Most High showing you right here. He had took the language away at the Tower of Babel. Then he told Michael, go back and give him the language back so he can call me. So that's what's happening now. You talking about we in disarray. Yeah, we barking, we a rooster barking like a dog. So the Most High has already told us in the scriptures that he's gonna send the language back. Then we're gonna call him. You know, you see you run across an angel and he talking in Greek. Shit, there's something wrong with the angel. They speaking in Hebrew. Heaven. It's Hebrew in heaven. So, may the eternal God make thy path straight, and the Lord be with thee and protect thee from all Israel, all evil, and grant unto thee grace, mercy, favor before those who see thee, and may none of the children of men have power. See that? You see how the children of men don't have shit to do with Israelite. It says, and none of the children of men have power over thee to harm thee. Go in peace. All right? And it says, if thou seest a land pleasant to thy eyes, dwell in it, then arise and take me to thee, and take Lot with thee, and the son of Ron thy brother, and thine own son, and the Lord be with thee, and Nahor thy brother leave with me till thou returnest in peace, and go with thee all together. Okay, so with that being said, like I said, I just wanted to shine light on, give a better account and a more in-depth account of who Abraham is. So I'm opening up for some Q&A. Anybody want any questions or comments on what we just dealt with?
Yeah, I was going to say that was a good cross-reference of, Abraham getting the language back and being able to understand the writings and where we're at today. And how you said, he's going to restore that back to us so we can call his name.
Right. And that once you see that, then you go to Isaiah, pretty much from Isaiah 60 all the way to 66. That's what he's telling you. So when he returned the language, like I was saying before, the flocks and the herds come back. And that's in Isaiah 60. He started bringing all of. We got to have we are disoriented. We said the fat of the lambs, the fat of the kidneys and all that. We have to do that, and that's how he come. So when the language come back, all other stuff come back with it. The wealth. You can't serve the Lord and be poor. You know what I'm saying? Wealth come along with it. That's why he made Abraham rich, and Lot and David. All of them was rich. They had everything they needed to deal with him. Yeah. Any more questions? Okay. The mic on mute. Okay. 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 Anybody else got something? They want to try to come back in because couldn't hear you the first time. Okay. You can't hear you. Ain't no questions in the chat.
Yeah, there's no question.
Okay. Okay. Well, like I said, that was all I had for the lesson for the day. I was trying. I wanted, like I said, I wanted to shine shine a light on Abraham, to get a better understanding of who he was and how he came about. How he ended up being in the position that he's in our in our history. So I hope that helps somebody. We're gonna pick this up at 6 o'clock tonight for the just close out the Shabbat. Shalom, shalom, and another shalom.